Scapegoating, a practice rooted in white supremacy in the United States, involves unfairly blaming an individual or group for wider societal problems. This mechanism has historically been used to blame African Americans for the United States' ills and to justify the atrocities committed against African descendant people. Scapegoating in America is a tool used by white supremacists to uphold systems of oppression and a racial hierarchy in America. In the context of African American history, scapegoating has been a tool to justify both hatred and systemic inequalities against our people. Are African Americans responsible for upholding U.S. democracy? This video delves into the historical and modern use of scapegoating against African Americans, especially in the political landscape. Historically, African Americans have been blamed for just about everything in the country, ranging from the problems between the North and South, the Civil War, and from making whites poor. African Americans, the descendants of slaves who never arrived voluntarily into the country, kept as chattel and forced to work under the harshest conditions in human history, have been easy targets and used as convenient scapegoats to maintain white supremacy, deflecting attention and blame away from the actual systemic issues within American society. This practice has been evident in various periods of American history, notably during Reconstruction, the Civil Rights Movement, and in the recent political climate. In contemporary politics, this scapegoating has taken on new dimensions. The political advancements made by African Americans have been met with backlash from within the Republican Party. The rise of Donald Trump and his appeal to white supremacist groups exemplifies this. Trump's rhetoric and policies often play on the fear, insecurities, and prejudices of these groups, positioning African Americans and other minorities as responsible for America's challenges. This narrative conveniently overlooks the fact that it is not African Americans undermining the U.S. government, but white Americans within the Republican Party. Many within the party actively participate in undermining democratic institutions and processes, such as voting rights. They are actively inciting racial hatred and political unrest. They have attempted to steal a U.S. election and attempted an insurrection on the American government. However, scapegoating is not limited to one political party. The Democrats, relying heavily on the African American vote, now feel as if African Americans are obligated to vote for them because they recognize that no party truly represents us. Taxation without representation is a very serious issue African Americans have faced for more than a century. Today, the Democrats are consistently espousing propaganda targeting African Americans. The subliminal narrative is that African Americans are responsible for preserving the American democracy, inadvertently setting up African Americans for further scapegoating. This situation creates a paradox where African Americans are simultaneously positioned as both the saviors of American democracy and potential culprits for its failings. This narrative is dangerous, particularly for the interests of African Americans. It forces African Americans to overlook the fact that both the Republican and the Democratic parties have exploited our people for centuries and have upheld white supremacy and systemic racism through policies and laws. Furthermore, U.S. politicians know this propaganda plays into deeper psychological needs for acceptance among African Americans. A desire for societal acceptance and the fear of reinforcing negative stereotypes. Many African Americans who suffer from PTSD and Stockholm Syndrome feel compelled to align with U.S. political agendas, even though either party serves their interests. We must resist needing white approval. To answer the question posed in the title of this video, no. African Americans are not responsible for upholding U.S. democracy. It is a scapegoating tactic used to position African Americans as the fall guy for the ills caused by white supremacy, Donald Trump, and systemic racism. African Americans must concern themselves with the survival of our community. African Americans are under attack in America once again. The normalization of white supremacy is an existential threat to our community. African Americans must focus on what is best for our survival, and that is obtaining reparations and fighting against political exploitation and white supremacy. A significant movement is gaining momentum in the United States, focusing on a critical issue. African Americans are committed to casting their votes exclusively for the Democratic candidate nominated for the U.S. presidential election who pledges to sign an executive order for reparations within the first week of taking office, preferably no later than the week of January 6, 2025. Should the nominated Democratic candidate fail to commit to reparations, African Americans are prepared to collectively abstain from voting in the 2024 presidential elections, for those who choose to participate. It is imperative to emphasize that African Americans will not support any candidate who refuses to endorse an executive order for reparations by January 2025. If the demand for reparations is ignored or if Congress rescinds the Democratic executive order for reparations, African Americans will initiate further mass boycotts targeting corporations and the U.S. military. To comprehend the underlying reasons behind this movement, we strongly recommend watching a video entitled, Reparations: Should African Americans Boycott the 2024 Elections in Return for Their Vote? This video provides an accurate depiction of African American history, tracing it from the post-slavery era to the present day. It vividly illustrates how both Republicans and Democrats have repeatedly collaborated to make promises to African Americans during election campaigns, only to renege on those promises once they secured the African American vote. In response to this systemic exploitation and the rise of normalized white supremacy, African Americans are embarking on this movement. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos about the African reparations movement, African and African diaspora geopolitics, politics, history, news and religion.